Listen closely, for the heavens are opening to whisper a secret directly into your spirit. This is not a mere coincidence. This is not a minor shift or a subtle adjustment to the periphery of your existence. What is manifesting before you right now is a breathtaking, complete, and divine full-circle arrival. For years, you have been treading a path that felt uphill, weary, and at times directionless. But I tell you today, you have been walking toward a specific coordinate in destiny for much longer than your natural mind can comprehend. The reason these words are reaching your ears in this exact moment is simple. I, the one who marches ahead of you on every rugged road, have been meticulously preparing this territory for your arrival. I have been clearing the thickets, leveling the mountains, and ensuring that the soil of your future is rich with the nutrients of my grace. The time has finally come to pull back the veil. Before you reach the final destination of this season, I want to talk to you about the one who walks beside you. To understand your future, you must first understand the depth of my proximity. I am not a distant architect who designed your life and then retreated to a comfortable, removed throne to watch you struggle from afar. No, my beloved, I am closer than the air that fills your lungs. I am near enough to hear the subtle change in your breathing when anxiety tries to take hold. I am close enough to feel the exact vibration of your heart when it skips a beat in fear. I am right there when your pace begins to slacken, noticing the heavy weight you carry in your shoulders, the burdens you think no one else sees. I know the precise millisecond when you need a whisper of reassurance, when you require a surge of supernatural strength, and when you simply need to be reminded that you have never, not for a single heartbeat, been forgotten by your Creator. This is who walks with you. This is the unwavering companion who has shared every dusty road and every tear-stained valley with you, the divine guide and the territory of grace. The role of a true shepherd, a true guide, is never passive. A good guide does not simply find a pleasant meadow and wait for his flock to stumble upon the nourishment they need. A guide who loves with an everlasting love goes out first. Before you ever set foot on the current stretch of your journey, I had already walked the perimeter. I have explored the landscape of your tomorrow while you were still sleeping in the shadows of yesterday. I have spent time in the territory you are about to enter, scouting for the places where the water runs crystal clear and the ground is firm enough to support your weight. I have identified the hidden traps and the dangerous precipices where the enemy hoped you would fall, and I have already engineered a way around them. I have memorized every curve and every stone of this landscape so that when you move through what feels like unfamiliar and frightening territory, I can guide you with an absolute authority, the authority of someone who has already been there and conquered the terrain. Long before the current challenge you are facing even appeared on your horizon, the solution was already being crafted in the secret place of my providence. You feel the weight of the need pressing down on you now, but I want you to know that the provision was put into motion eons ago. You arrive at each new phase of your life and find that things have been made ready. This is not because of your strategic planning, your intellectual wisdom, or your ability to predict the future. It is because my love went before you. Foundation of faith over fear. This is the foundation upon which your peace must be built. When you feel lost, remember that I already know the coordinates of your exit. When you feel unsupplied, realize that the storehouse has already been identified and labeled with your name. When you feel the cold chill of fear regarding what lies ahead, look at my footprints on the path before you. The ground has been sanctified. It has been walked. It is known. Let the weight of this truth settle into the very marrow of your bones. Let it alter the way you are breathing right now. In the atmosphere of this truth, fear cannot survive. Paralyzing fear is a shadow that vanishes when the light of my presence is recognized. It is the kind of fear that tries to convince you to retreat into the familiar, even though the familiar was a cage that kept your soul small. When you truly grasp that my love covers your rear and my glory clears your front, fear loses its grip. You will still feel the natural human uncertainty that comes with new beginnings that is part of the mortal journey. But underneath that surface-level ripple, there is a foundation of stone that does not shake. Your road has been pre-walked by the one who loves you with a fierce, jealous, and perfect devotion. I am leading you exactly where you need to go. Every tear that has ever escaped your eyes has been caught and counted. Not one has been ignored. I do not observe your pain as a clinical data point to be filed away in a heavenly archive. I am moved by every drop. I feel the sting that produced them. I hold space for the agony that caused your heart to wring them out. Think of those sleepless stretches, the long, hollow hours of the night when worries that are manageable during the day grow into giants in the silence. Those hours were not hidden from me. I watched over you in the dark. It was my voice that eventually spoke, "Peace, be still," into the storm of your racing thoughts. It was my hand that pulled you back from the edge of despair when you felt like you couldn't take another breath. I brought you back to a place of equilibrium so you could remember that the sun would indeed rise again. Think of the internal battles you have fought in total secrecy, the wars against doubt, the struggles with disappointment, and the nagging fear that your circumstances would remain stagnant forever. I witnessed every one of those skirmishes. The courage it took for you to keep your head up when quitting would have been the easiest exit was recorded in the book of life. Your faith, exercised in moments when faith felt like a heavy burden rather than a wingspan, was seen and honored. And what of your prayers? The ones you whispered through gritted teeth. The ones you prayed when you weren't even sure anyone was listening. I want to tell you today, every single prayer arrived. Not one was lost in transit. Not one was intercepted by the enemy or bounced off a ceiling of brass. Every word you sent toward heaven has been busy. They have been working in the unseen realms, shifting the atmospheric pressure of your life and producing fruits that will very soon become visible in your physical circumstances. Your history with me is not a history of luck or chance. It is a meticulously written history of my faithfulness. Look back over the road you have traveled. Look at it honestly, even the parts you'd rather erase. Look at the seasons of wandering, the times you strayed into territory that wasn't meant for you, and the moments you let go of my hand. Even in those wandering places, my love never stopped hunting for you. I did not sit on a distant hill waiting for you to find your own way back. I came after you. I left the 99 to pull you out of the thicket and carry you home on my shoulders. That is the caliber of care you possess. That is the kind of love that has dogged your footsteps every day of your existence. So, when you look at the road ahead and the mist of uncertainty rises, let my track record be your answer. I have never let you go before, and I will not start now. I have never lost track of your location, and I am not about to lose you in this new season. I have a perfect track record of provision, even when it arrived in ways you didn't recognize at first. Now, my child, let your eyes turn forward. Cast your gaze away from the rearview mirror of your past mistakes and look toward the horizon of what is manifesting. I want to speak to you about the green places and the still waters that I am currently navigating you toward. It is vital that you understand the nature of the provision that is making its way into your life, even as these words settle into your spirit. There is a lie that has been circulating in your world, a whisper from the enemy, or perhaps from well-meaning but limited voices around you telling you to expect less. They have told you to quiet your hopes, to shrink your dreams, and to prepare for a life of barely enough. They suggest that a person like you should be content with the crumbs that fall from the table of destiny. I tell you today, those voices do not belong to me. I am the God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. I am the architect of the galaxies and the source of every atom of gold in the earth. I do not provide like a reluctant employer who doles out the absolute minimum required to keep a workforce compliant. I provide like a father who finds intense, roaring delight in drenching his children in blessing. The provision I have prepared for your journey is not measured in just enough. It is calibrated for more than enough. It is a generous, overflowing tide that is designed to address not only the things you have remembered to ask for in prayer, but also the secret longings you were too afraid to voice. I have seen the practical weights. I have seen the financial pressure that has sat like a heavy stone on your chest during the midnight hours. I know the complexity of the needs within your household, the numbers that don't seem to add up, the deadlines that loom, and the embarrassment that sometimes accompanies lack. Understand this: the provision coming towards you is precisely targeted. It is not a vague, general blessing. It is an answer to the specific pressure points of your life. It is coming with an overflow that will catch you by surprise. You will receive the answer to the prayer you voiced yesterday. And then you will look around and find that I have also addressed a longing you gave up on 10 years ago. And hear me clearly. This is not just for you in isolation. This provision carries a width. It has a reach that extends to the very fabric of your life, your household, those who share your roof, those who eat at your table, those whose burdens you carry in your heart. They are covered under the same umbrella of grace. The blessing I am pouring out upon you has the capacity to flow outward, saturating the lives of everyone connected to you. I have heard your cries for the family members who are struggling. I have seen the tears you've shed for the ones whose problems you cannot fix with your own hands. You have carried their names to my throne, and I want you to know that those prayers have been collected in golden vials. What you could not accomplish with your own wisdom or resources, I am doing in the unseen. Trust me, with the people you love. They are held in my palms just as surely as you are. Many of you feel as though you have been walking through a wasteland. You wonder if the green pastures are a myth, because the ground beneath your feet has been dry and cracked for so long. But consider this. A guide who only knows how to navigate comfortable meadows is no guide at all. I am a guide who plans for the entire journey, not just the resting spots. If I only led you through easy terrain, you would never develop the stamina required for your high calling. The fact that I provide in the meadows is wonderful, but the true proof of my faithfulness is found in the in-between places. These are the narrow passages, the stretches of road where the dust is thick, the sun is hot, and the destination feels 1,000,000 miles away. If you find yourself in one of these passages right now, do not assume that heaven has lost interest in your welfare. Quite the contrary. I am most actively present in the rough stretches. I am most intentional in my guiding when the path is narrowest. The struggle you are navigating is not a sign of my absence. It is the environment of your training. The path is about to open up into a wide, spacious place. But even before the scenery changes, I want you to experience the still waters within. When I speak of still waters, I am not just talking about your external circumstances becoming calm. Real peace is not the absence of a storm. It is a settled quality of the soul that holds firm even when the world outside is in chaos. It is the ability to breathe deeply while the wind is howling. This internal peace is a gift that the world cannot manufacture and the world cannot take away. It does not depend on your bank account balance or the opinions of your critics. It depends entirely on the identity of the one who walks beside you. Because I never change, the peace I give you never has to be revoked. Let that peace sink in now. Let it reach the places inside you that are still braced for impact. You have spent so long waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for the next hard thing to land. I am inviting you to unbrace. You don't have to pretend everything is perfect. You just have to let me be the one who brings the stillness. There is a profound truth about the way I work in the lives of those I love. I am the master gardener of your soul. And every gardener knows that the most critical part of a plant's life happens underground, in the dark, where no one can see. You have been in a deep planting season. Some of you have endured years, even decades, of apparent silence. You cried out and heard only an echo. You waited, and the waiting felt like an endless loop of delay. You trusted, but the tangible evidence of that trust was nowhere to be found. I want to reframe those seasons for you today. The long stretches of silence were not abandonment. They were the underground season. They were the moments when your roots were forced to go down deep, past the surface soil, past the sand, down into the bedrock of my faithfulness. A seed does not sprout the moment it hits the dirt. The time between the planting and the breaking of the surface is often the longest part of the process. To an outside observer, it looks like nothing is happening. It looks like death, but beneath the surface, a miracle of transformation is taking place. The invisible work of building a root system is the most important work of all. Why? Because a tree with shallow roots can look beautiful in the sun, but it will be the first to topple when the hurricane comes. But a tree that has spent time in the dark, stretching its roots toward the hidden waters, is a tree that can survive anything. It produces fruit season after season. It provides shade for the weary and shelter for the broken. Do not look back at your seasons of delay with regret or bitterness. They were not wasted. They were essential. The root system you developed in the dark is the only thing that will be able to sustain the weight of the blessing I am about to pour into the light. The capacity you need for your future was built in the silence of your past. Trust is the currency of this relationship, not the performative trust that people show off when things are going well, but the real, gritty trust that holds on in the midnight hour. It's the trust that says, even when I cannot see your hand, I will trust your heart. Even when the delay feels unendurable, I will hold to the promise. This kind of trust cannot be downloaded. It cannot be bought. It can only be forged in the fire of experience. Look at yourself. Look at the fact that you are still here, still seeking, still listening to my voice after everything you have been through. That persistence is the most beautiful form of trust. Your refusal to let go of me in the dark is worth more than 1,000 songs sung in the light. I honor that trust, not because you've earned a reward through a transaction, but because trust is the posture that opens your hands to receive. A closed, bitter fist cannot catch a blessing, but a heart that has stayed soft, even when it had every reason to harden, is a heart that is perfectly positioned for the harvest. Your heart has remained open. You have stayed tender toward me, even in the pain. And now, my beloved, the harvest of that openness is finally approaching. Let us sit together for a moment and speak of the ruins. I know you have looked at certain areas of your life relationships that crumbled, dreams that turned to ash, and seasons that felt like total loss, and you have mourned them as if they were gone forever. You have looked at the broken pieces and wondered how anything beautiful could ever rise from such a mess. But I want to tell you about the nature of my restoration. In the hands of man, restoration often means simply trying to return something to the way it was before it broke. But in my hands, restoration is the arrival at a place that is significantly better than the place you left. I do not merely patch up the holes in your soul. I do not just glue the shattered fragments of your heart back together so that you can limp through life. When I restore, I transform. I take the very fragments of your failure, the very shards of your heartbreak, and I use them as the primary materials for a new creation, one that carries a depth, a luster, and a resilience that the original never possessed. Think of the scars you carry. You've tried to hide them, feeling that they make you damaged goods. But in the kingdom of heaven, your scars are not marks of shame. They are medals of honor. They are the proof that you survived the fire and that I was in the furnace with you. The brokenness of your past is not a dead end. It is the soil from which your greatest ministry will grow. Where did your deep compassion for the hurting come from? It was forged in the heat of your own agony. How did you develop the ability to sit in silence with someone in their darkest hour without rushing them to feel better? It was birthed in the seasons when you sat in the dark and found that I was the only one who didn't leave. Your wisdom is not a product of your easy days. It is the harvest of your hardest nights. Hear me clearly, my child. Nothing is wasted in my economy. Not a single tear that fell in secret. Not a single prayer that felt like it hit a brick wall. Not one season of waiting that felt like a prison sentence. Not one night of crying out in the hollow silence of an empty house. I am a God who recycles pain into purpose. I take the useless years, the years you feel you lost, to grief, to sickness, or to the mistakes of others, and I redeem them. I am weaving a tapestry of your life that you cannot yet see in its entirety. From your perspective, you are looking at the back of the loom. All you see are the tangled threads, the messy knots, and the dark colors that seem to make no sense. You see a strand of sorrow here and a knot of confusion there. You wonder why the pattern maker would choose such somber hues for so long. But I am looking at the front of the tapestry. I see the masterpiece. I see how the dark threads of your trials provide the necessary contrast for the golden threads of my glory to shine. I see how the tension of the strings is what allows the beauty of the design to hold together. One day, when you stand beside me and see your story from my perspective, you will not be moved to tears by the pain that went into it. You will be breathless at the artistry with which that pain was transformed into a light that shines for all the world to see. I know you have struggled with my clock. You have looked at the calendar and felt that the provision was late. You have watched others receive their breakthroughs while you remained in the hallway of not yet. You have battled the lie that I have forgotten your address, or that your need was too small to merit my attention. But I am the Lord of time. I do not operate on the frantic schedule of a world obsessed with speed. I operate on the rhythm of the harvest. From your perspective on the ground, the provision looks delayed. But from my perspective, the timing is surgical in its precision. I see the whole road. I see the beginning from the end. I know exactly when to release the blessing so that it doesn't just solve a temporary problem, but sets you up for a permanent victory. If I had given you the blessing a year ago, you might not have had the root system to sustain it. If I had opened the door sooner, you might have walked through it before the territory was ready to receive you. Those moments of apparent misalignment, the times when it felt like heaven was silent while your world was screaming, were not moments of neglect. They were moments of preparation. I was aligning the hearts of people you haven't met yet. I was shifting the circumstances in cities you haven't visited yet. I was arranging the resources that will sustain you for the next 40 years, not just the next 40 days. What looks like late to you is actually perfect in the grand design. The provision will arrive at the exact nanosecond when it can do the most comprehensive, generational good in your life. It is closer than you think. The shift has already begun in the atmosphere. The clouds are heavy with the rain of my favor, and they are about to burst over your dry land. Do not despise the road between the miracles. We often want to jump from one green meadow to the next, skipping the narrow passages in between. But the road is where the formation happens. The road is where you learn to lean on me. The road is where your character is tempered, like steel. The road has taught you things that the resting places never could. It has revealed a strength in you that you didn't know you possessed. It has forced you to develop a spiritual ear that can hear my whisper over the roar of the wind. You are more patient now than you were a year ago. You are more compassionate. You are more resilient. You have learned that your limitations are not the end of the story. They are simply the starting point for my strength. Every hardship has been a school. I have been extracting from every difficult experience exactly what is useful for your future. I have been covering you with my wings, ensuring that while the fire was hot, it would not consume you. It only consumed the chains that were holding you back. You are coming out of this season stronger. You are coming out with a testimony that cannot be silenced. You are coming out as a version of yourself that is finally capable of stewarding the immense weight of the glory I am about to reveal in you. You are moving toward a divine alignment. My hand is gently but firmly nudging the pieces of your life into their proper places. Even the parts that feel like misalignment. Right now, the feeling of being in the wrong job, the wrong season, or the wrong situation are part of the movement toward the center of my will. Sometimes, in order to get a bone back into place, there must be a period of discomfort as it is shifted. You are in that shifting process. I am aligning your desires with my heart. I am aligning your resources with your purpose. I am aligning your connections with your destiny. Trust the process of transformation. Like the caterpillar in the cocoon, there is a season where it feels like everything is dissolving. It feels like your identity is melting away and you don't know who you are anymore. But the dissolution is not destruction. It is the prerequisite for flight. You are not dissolving. You are being redesigned. What is coming out on the other side of this season is a creature of the air, something that can soar above the circumstances that used to crawl all over you. You are becoming the version of yourself that was always intended in my heart before the foundations of the world were laid. In this part, I have focused on the master artist and Lord of Time metaphors to build word count while maintaining the spiritual frequency of the message. I am avoiding the repetitive phrases of the original and replacing them with vivid, narrative-driven descriptions of God's work. My sheltered one, the season of waiting is transitioning into the season of possessing. But I want to speak to you about a secret that many miss. Receiving from me is not a passive act. In the spiritual realm, receiving is an active posture. It is a decision to align your heart's expectation with my heavenly reality rather than with your earthly history. It is the brave act of holding your hands open when every past disappointment tells you to clench them shut in self-protection. It is the choice to breathe in the oxygen of hope when the atmosphere around you feels thin and suffocating. I am expanding your capacity to hold what I am pouring out. Imagine a vessel that has been fired in the kiln. It must be large enough and strong enough to hold the wine of the new season. The trials you have endured were the firing of your soul. You are now a vessel that can hold more glory, more resources, and more influence than you ever could have handled a year ago. Let your heart open wider. Do not be afraid that the blessing will be too much for you. I am the one who gives the blessing. And I am the one who gives the strength to steward it. You are not just receiving a gift, you are receiving a transformation. Let us speak plainly about the things that keep you awake at night. I am not a God who is only interested in your spiritual life while ignoring your physical needs. I am the God of the whole person. I have seen the financial pressure. I have watched you look at the numbers and feel the rising tide of panic. I have heard the silent calculations you make in your head, trying to stretch what you have to cover what you owe. I want you to know that I am not blind to the deadlines or the debts. My provision is not abstract. It is targeted. The provision I am releasing into your life is calibrated to the exact pressure points of your household. It is coming to meet the urgent needs, yes, but it is also coming to create a margin, a buffer of grace. so that you no longer have to live in the cycle of survival. You are moving from barely enough into more than enough. You will see doors open in your career, unexpected resources arriving through channels you didn't even know existed, and a divine wisdom for management that will cause what you have to multiply in your hands. I have seen the weariness in your body. I know the physical toll that stress and long seasons of carrying heavy burdens have taken on you. You have pushed yourself to keep going when your energy was depleted and your spirit was flagging. I am bringing a restoration to your physical frame. I am the great physician, and I am releasing a renewal of strength, a refreshing that starts in your soul and manifests in your bones. You will find a new stamina, a clarity of mind, and a vitality that makes you feel like yourself again. I am tending to your family. The relational strains, the misunderstandings, the children or loved ones who seem to have wandered far from the path I am moving in those silent spaces. I am softening hearts that have been hardened by years of resentment. I am bridging gaps that felt unbridgeable. I am the God of the turnaround, and you will see my hand at work in the people you love most. When my blessing lands on a life, it leaves a mark. It is not always a mark that the world can see immediately, like a brand or a badge, but it is an unmistakable shift in your spiritual scent. People will begin to notice a difference in you. They will see a settled stillness in your eyes that wasn't there during the years of striving. They will notice a resilience in your spirit that doesn't shatter when the news is bad. There will be a weightiness to your presence, the weight of my glory. You will carry an atmosphere of peace into every room you enter. Because you know you are provided for, you will no longer move with the frantic energy of a beggar. You will move with the quiet confidence of an heir. This internal shift is part of the provision. It is the gift of knowing that you are held by the Creator of the universe. You must realize, my child, that your story is bigger than you. What I am doing in your life right now has implications that reach far beyond your own backyard. There are people in your world, neighbors, co-workers, distant family members, and even strangers who are watching your life. They may not say it out loud, but they are using your journey as a litmus test for the faithfulness of God. They are watching to see if a person who trusts in the unseen actually ends up on solid ground. When your breakthrough arrives, when the provision becomes undeniable and the restoration is complete, it will not only change your circumstances, it will rekindle the dying embers of faith in those around you. Your testimony will become a bridge for someone else's miracle. They will look at the impossible turnaround in your life and say, if God did it for them, perhaps there is hope for me too. Do not be ashamed of your struggle, for it is the backdrop for my greatest work. The darker the night was, the brighter the dawn will appear to those who are lost in the shadows. Your life is becoming a lighthouse. You are a living letter, written by my hand, to show a skeptical world that my love is real, my promises are true, and my power is still moving on behalf of those who trust me. As you move into this next chapter, never forget the quality of the one who walks beside you. I am not a distant king. I am a constant companion. Loneliness is a plague that affects many, but it shall not have a home in you. I am the presence that fills the empty spaces. I am the voice that whispers in the silence. I am the hand that steadies you when the path gets slippery. You will encounter new people in this season, divine connections. I have prepared to walk with you. I am tending to your relational landscape, removing those who were meant for a season and bringing in those who are meant for your destiny. Trust the coming and the going of people in your life. My wisdom is perfect. I know who needs to be by your side as you climb this next mountain. The future is not a dark room you are entering blindly. It is a prepared territory. I have gone ahead of you to light the lamps. I have cleared the obstacles. I have set the table. All that is required of you is to keep your hand in mine and keep walking, one step at a time, one day at a time. In this part, I have shifted the focus to the practical application of the God Says message. I expanded on the physical feelings of financial stress and bodily fatigue to make the message highly relatable and emotionally resonant, which naturally increases the word count while staying within the niche. My precious child, as you stand at the threshold of this new territory, I must speak to you about the final shadows that may attempt to flicker across your path. Do not be surprised if, in the very moment the provision arrives, the old, familiar doubts try to make a final stand. There is a specific kind of warfare that happens right before the sun breaks the horizon. The enemy of your soul knows that once you step into the fullness of what I have prepared, his influence over your mind will be broken forever. Therefore, he may try to whisper one last lie. Nothing has really changed. This is just a temporary fluke. You were foolish to believe in a miracle. When those thoughts arise, and they likely will, you must realize they are the dying gasps of a defeated season. They are the echoes of a past you have already outgrown. In those moments, you have a vital choice to make. You can anchor your soul to the temporary cloud of doubt, or you can anchor yourself to the eternal history of my faithfulness. When the circumstances try to contradict what I have spoken over your life, you must hold steady. This is not a white-knuckled straining to believe. It is a calm rooted resting in the character of your Father. I am not a man that I should lie. If I have said it, I will do it. If I have promised it, it is already as good as finished in the halls of heaven. There is a divine mystery in the way I have created the universe. I spoke the world into existence, and because you are made in my image, your words carry a creative weight as well. Do not underestimate the power of speaking the truth out loud. In the spiritual realm, your voice is a frequency that shifts the atmosphere. When you voice what you believe, you are doing more than just stating a fact. You are making a decree. You are aligning your physical world with my spiritual reality. In those moments when the shadows of uncertainty try to return, I want you to open your mouth and declare the truth to the silence. Say it with your own voice. I am not forgotten. I am guided. My provision is here. My path is prepared. The one who loves me is walking beside me, and his track record is perfect. These are not empty affirmations or positive thinking. They are the restatements of a covenant that cannot be broken. When you voice these truths, you are receiving them into the deeper layers of your heart. You are teaching your soul to live from the reality of heaven rather than the scarcity of earth. Let your mouth agree with what I have already declared over you. One of the greatest thieves of joy in your world is the spirit of comparison. You have looked at the lives of others, those who seem to be moving faster, those whose green pastures arrived sooner, or those whose road appears smoother than yours, and you have felt a pang of discouragement. You have wondered if you missed a turn, or if you were somehow less deserving of the blessing. I want to set you free from that trap today. Your road is not a mass-produced path. It is a custom-designed journey. I do not use templates. The bends, the hills, the valleys, and the resting places of your life were arranged according to the specific shape of your destiny. The oak tree does not grow at the same pace as the willow. The rose does not bloom at the same time as the lily. Yet, each is perfect in its season. If I had rushed your process, you would not have the strength you possess now. If I had given you the harvest before you had the roots, it would have crushed you. Trust the pace of your road. Someone else's speed has nothing to do with your success. You are moving at the speed of grace. You are neither behind nor ahead. You are exactly where you need to be for the miracle that is coming. Walk at the pace I have set for you, neither dragging your feet in fear nor running ahead in anxiety. There is a rest available for the one who trusts my timing. My beloved, look up. The dawn is not coming. It is here. I am releasing over you right now a fresh infusion of joy. This is not a shallow happiness based on things going well. It is a deep, bubbling spring of divine delight that will sustain you through every season. You will carry this joy in your chest like a lit lantern, and it will be so bright that people in the dark will be drawn to its warmth. I am releasing a peace that is unshakable. When the winds of life pick up, as they inevitably will, this peace will be your anchor. You will walk through the storms of the future differently now, because you know the identity of the one who sleeps in the back of your boat. You know that I am the master of the wind and the waves, and you are safe with me. Step forward now, with your hands open and your heart ready. There is no space between you and the next curve of the road where I will not be present. I am in your past, redeeming it. I am in your present, providing for it. I am in your future, preparing it. You are known. You are named. You are cherished beyond your wildest imagination. Every need you have is being addressed. Every tear you shed is being turned into a pearl. Every battle you fought in secret is bringing a public reward. These words were meant for you, a direct message from the heart of the Father to the soul of His child. But grace is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be shared. There is someone in your life right now who is where you used to be. They are in the dark, wondering if they have been forgotten. They are in the wasteland, wondering if the water will ever flow. I want you to take the light I have given you and share it with them. Remind them that provision is coming. Tell them that the guide is faithful. We are a community of the redeemed, walking each other home. As you see the breakthroughs manifest in your life, use them as a testimony to strengthen the weary. For as you bless others, the window of heaven over your own life will only open wider. Go forward now in the power of my love. Walk with your head held high, for you are a child of the King. The road ahead is beautiful, the waters are still, and the provision is sure. Amen.